What's up, everybody? Another late night, another project here in the shop. Tonight I am going to start the teardown of my JDM Type R Integra for a complete underside restoration. I'm going to restore the underside of the body, the suspension, the steering, all new bushings. I'm going to take the engine and transmission out, and I'm going to give that like an exterior restoration. I have a new timing belt. Probably going to do a shave and tuck on the engine bay, brake line tuck, AC tuck, all that stuff. I'm keeping the amenities because I'm becoming an old man and I want all that stuff because I paid for it. Yeah, let's go check out this huge pile of parts I have. All right, so here I have basically my cart of goodies for the Integra. Obviously a bunch of K-tune parts, camber kit, tow arms, front and rear, all that stuff is up here. All the trailing arm bushings, all that stuff. Obviously got a new set of spoon calipers, K-tune, clutch master cylinder, and slave cylinder. I got some spoon radiator hoses from a buddy, Chris. New spec clutch and flywheel. Shout out to them. Remote mount battery tray, some new rotors, Toyota timing belt and cam gears, some spoon soft brake lines, some goodies from our friends at Colored Fittings. I got a bunch of colored fittings and bolts in there for our fuel, power steering, and all that stuff. Brake line tuck. I got a good used set of these TN Flex coilovers with the EDFC, the old school stuff. ARP extended studs, lower control arms. I got this really cool clear timing belt cover. So that means I don't have to cut up my valve cover, but it's okay. What else do I got here? Oh, I got my Wireworks engine and chassis tuck harnesses. All the mil-spec stuff in there with the bulkhead. The list just is phenomenal for this car. So I got somewhere here, I got a new ASR rear sway bar and brace. So yeah, this stuff isn't gonna put itself on, so let's get this thing apart. All right, so this is the newest victim. Let's talk about it. It's a 98 Integra Type R, JDM right-hand drive. It's a 98 spec RX, which means it doesn't have a sunroof. It doesn't have ABS. It came with tinted glass, came with special pedals, a few other little things that a lot of us didn't even know about in America. But this one also came with, the 98 specs come with the Jasma header, Jasma exhaust. That's pretty cool. And then this one here was outfitted with the Mugen cold air intake. So that's pretty cool. It's a really rare piece. Super nice car. When I got it, it had just under 100K on it. Did put a set of MF10 mirror faces on it, which look like an old man wheel or whatever, but if you know, you know. I got the spoon valve cover on there now, spoon cover, spoon plug wires. I'll probably be putting that stuff on Stacie's car. So far, I've done a full exterior restoration. My friend Chris at Performance Detailing helped me out. We got this thing fully PDR'd, fully paint corrected, fully ceramic coated, new window moldings, new belt moldings, new roof moldings, new decals, new badges. Basically everything on the exterior is like new, right? Except for the headlights. I buffed those before, but they didn't clear cut them, so they faded fast. The car did not come with the rear wing. I sourced the rear wing locally and we had it paint matched. It came out perfect. Our buddy Edwin painted it for me. I did super darkly tint the windows, and that's A, for my privacy. When I'm rolling around, I just don't want people looking at me weird. And B, to protect the interior, because this car has a very nice interior and I want to preserve it the best I can. All right, it's Saturday, day 2 of working on the Integra. I got really far last night. I got all the suspension out, got the engine out, got the transmission out. Now I got to work on, I'm going to get it off of the lift so I can pull it forward and open the doors and get all of the stuff off the firewall, strip the firewall so I can get the gas tank out and get all the brake lines and stuff off of it, so it's a completely stripped down car. I got a lot of work to do, and Stacey's trying to have a date night tonight, so I got to get after it. All right, so here's the engine bay on the Integra. It's all original, right? It's all what you'd expect to be out of a 20-plus-year-old car. So what I'm gonna do is I got it off the lift arms now, so I can roll it back and get in there. I'm taking the brake booster off, the clutch master cylinder, the brake master cylinder, all the brake lines, the fuel filter. All this stuff is gonna be completely out. Here in about, I'm hoping about an hour, hour and a half, this will be a completely stripped down engine bay. I'll be able to get it back up on the lift and take the subframe out and take all the rear lines out for the brake stuff. So a lot of work. All right, so last night and yesterday, I finished stripping this whole thing down. I think I got, I don't know, one small piece of a harness to get out, one brake line just to literally pull off the car, and then my power wire for my radio, which I just need to tuck back in the car. I pressure washed everything, scrubbed it all down, pressure washed it really good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and clean up a little bit of my mess, and then I'm going to start masking this car, plug any holes I don't want bed liner in, and get this bad boy sprayed. I'm also gonna work on probably cleaning up all the loose parts I have. I have a lot of parts, right? Because we took the whole car apart. So I'm gonna get all those cleaned up probably before I spray, because it's gonna be really stinky in here when I spray. And then obviously I gotta do a lot of masking of like draping over cars and toolboxes and stuff in here. So yep, it's gonna be fun. Here we go. All right, so here it is. I got it pretty well stripped down. I think I got the hood latch to remove yet, and a few little things over here, but I got the booster out, the subframe out. I did wash and scrub all this. This is like a, I don't know if it's a factory undercoating or something someone else did, because they had the fender liner and stuff on there when they did it, and this is kind of what came off of it, most of it. So I'll scrub it a little bit more, I think, by hand, and then I gotta scotch brite these surface rust areas. I got the whole fuel and brake line channel out over here. So now you can see, since it's been washed, that the JDM cars, like I said, do not come with extra undercoating. The undercoating that it comes with is actually white. This is just really tarnished because it's gross, but if you look over here, it's actually supposed to be championship white. It's body color, matched. So that's why we're gonna go back through and do it body color again. Just freshen it up, make it look good. So I got the gas tank out. I don't think I've ever taken a gas tank out of an Integra before. Super easy deal. I still have the coilovers in. I just haven't taken those out out of just sheer ease, I guess. It's just too easy and I just keep forgetting. But yeah, I got all this washed. Again, you can see where I hit this with the pressure washer and scrubbed it all out. So I'll manually scrub that a little bit just to make sure we got good adhesion on both sides here. So, but yeah, I'm gonna do some house cleaning here. Gonna do some cleaning. I got all these parts and fluids and shit. That's all dirty stuff I wanted to keep in one pile. Gotta get that cleaned up. I want to get all this side. We had some water overflow over here, so I want to get all this stuff put on a shelf and picked up, so I can clean the floor over here and get everything masked up. I did wash the subframe with the pressure washer. It came out really clean, so I think if I detail that, that's gonna look really good. I was gonna powder coat all this stuff, but if they have like the colored stampings on them, I think I'm just gonna scrub them up and detail them the best I can and see, because I don't want to take that away from this car. I want it to look like, not that we just restored the underside, but it looks proper, and if they don't look like I want to, what I'll do is I'll take pictures and I'll make stencils and we'll replicate the stampings. And I think, yeah, we got all these factory pieces here that we need to put on a shelf. My intake and stuff. And then I am going to take my wheels over and have the faces repolished on them so they're back to mirror finish, and then we'll clear coat them again. Again, a lot of work, but I've got really far in, I don't know, I think I'm about not even 48 hours in this project, so I'm just gonna keep cramming on it here through the weekend. It's Sunday morning now. I'm hoping by about, I don't know what time is it? It's about 11 o'clock now. By about 4 in the morning, I should have this mask sprayed, all my parts cleaned, organized, all of that stuff. Should be pretty easy. All right, Sunday night, we got this thing all bagged up. We got it all masked off. Watch, I'll show you in here. So we have the underside all taped off. The engine bay is all bagged up. We got this here all prepped, masked, scrubbed clean, degreased, yada, yada, yada. So this here, and this side here. I did make sure I put tape in all of the holes, or old bolts in all the holes. Just that way we don't have to go tapping holes, because that's a pain in the butt. So I got the fans going in here now. Basically, we just make this little paint booth cocoon around these cars when we do this to keep the overspray down, keep the fumes down, like, you know, and I have a full respirator mask, full face shield mask. So I'm gonna get geared up. We're gonna get mixing some paint. We're gonna blast this thing, and 30 minutes we'll have this thing ready to go. All right, so it's like 10:30 at night. Kyle and I had a long day on the Integra, long Sunday. We got the bottom of it though, look, all white again. Don't worry guys, it's all white. It's gonna be all white. So I'll flip the camera on here in a second, I'll show you guys. Just like on all our cars, we have this firewall line, right? And we're gonna do new paint on the way up there, but this is color matched Raptor liner with championship white in it. There's weird shadow stuff going on, but like, you know, I masked off the hangers. We put, you know, masked off all the bolt holes. Like, this video doesn't do it any good because like the light's not the same, but you can see like it is really nice. So we did run into an issue. This is my first time spraying white Rhino liner or any kind of light color Rhino liner on something. So on this tintable stuff, it turns out when it's gonna be lighter colored than the stuff comes, because it comes like this yellow cream color, you got to put way more paint in it. So I didn't start out with as much paint, so I wasn't getting the coverage, and I kept spraying it. So I ran out of material to do the front wheel wells. We have a plan. We're gonna get another kit, and we're gonna prep these really, really good. And I did get up to this line right here. I do have a little shadow of one spot I missed. There's always one spot I miss. Every time I do a car, I'm always touching it up, but we can just hit that with color when we do the rest of it here. But I am, as far as the underside of this bad boy goes, I am really, really, really impressed with it. It looks like a brand new car, which is what we're after here. So now I can get the side skirts back on it. I can start getting the fuel tank back in it and get all my parts back on it. We're gonna get ready to party here. All right, so now that I got the bottom coated, I got the lift lower down. I got some welding paper on the windshield to protect the glass while I'm welding and grinding and stuff. I got the old MIG welder out here. I'm gonna get my little belt sander, and I'm gonna weld all of these holes, unnecessary holes, closed. It's a very, very tedious process. Anytime that you see a shaved engine bay on any kind of car, especially these Hondas, just know someone went through a lot of work to get it there. I still got the other camera rolling. I'll do some updates as we go. It'll be good. So I have this bad boy all welded up. I made some filler panels for this side and this side. I do have some high build primer on there now. That's just dark gray stuff. It helps me check the body work. Helps me check everything out. I'm gonna go seal it up for the night. I'll probably get a little bit more put on there, and then I'll come through and I'll wet sand this here before I paint it. So we're ready to paint this now, which makes me super, super happy. Because it's gonna be sick. Yeah, I've got like that spot I forgot to prime, this spot over here I forgot to prime, but other than that, I got it all just how I want it. It looks good. Once this bad boy's all together, it's gonna look really, really good. So, yep, that's it for tonight. Today, I did get it up in the air. I got the fuel tank, fuel lines, and rear brake lines installed, so I'm using all the factory lines with that. I'll modify them right here at the firewall, then underneath that masking there. Obviously I got the car bagged off. Right, did a bunch of sanding, a bunch of just fixed work on my body work I was rocking with, and then I put a bunch of 2K primer, high build primer on this thing. As you can see, it looks all silky smooth, right? That's what we're after. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight. And tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna give it any little touch-ups I see fit, which I don't see much. I'll probably just sand it down and just make it nice and flat to paint. We're gonna get color and clear on this thing tomorrow. Let that dry out, and I'm gonna get the subframe restored. I did the gas tank today. It turned out really good, so I'm gonna do the subframe, do a new inner and outer tie rods on that bad boy, clean up the rack, make sure that's all happy. And I got this stuff here. These are my main things to address. Rack and pinion for the subframe, and then I have the rear control arms here that I gotta get these old bushings out of, put the new bushings in, take these old toe arms off, put the new ones on. I'm gonna rebuild the calipers and repaint those. And then I gotta get these brake rotors off and take the bearings out, replacing the wheel bearings and putting A or P extended studs on it. So that's my plan for tomorrow after I get this thing painted, is trying to get all that done. There's a lot to do, but I've been doing most of this by myself. Kyle's helped me here and there a little bit. Michael's helped me here and there a little bit. That's where we're at on this here. Like I said, tomorrow I'll get color on this thing. I'm super excited. And then I got with Resto Tuner, I got a bunch of new zinc gold bolts coming. So all the rear suspension bolts will be all new. All the front suspension bolts will be new. All of that stuff. Let me show you guys some other stuff here. I went ahead and washed, scrubbed, and re-coated my fender liners, my front fender liners, the timing cover, and the other the splash shield for the other side. And then this is a gas tank piece here. This is a filler neck piece here. So I did all those, got those restored. And these are my factory heater hoses. They're in really good shape. They're not like hard, but they're not too smushy either. They're just like we want to see. So I went ahead and I cleaned those up really, really good. Sandblasted all the hose clamps, the factory pinch clamps. Sandblasted those and Cerakoted those. Obviously I cleaned this guy up. The bracket for the heater valve, I got sandblasted. I'm going to coat that tomorrow. So basically all the stuff that I can sandblast and either ceramic coat or powder coat or paint however I need to, that's what I'm doing. These are all our colored fittings and colored fender washers for our brake tuck, power steering tuck, fuel line tuck, and then obviously the fenders that I got from these guys. I mean, you guys can see like the color and the detail is just so nice. They're so silky smooth. Like, it's gonna look really good underneath the hood of this thing. All right, everybody, it's about 1 in the morning, Sunday. It has been exactly 2 weeks-ish, if you do my math. Well, 2 Saturdays ago, I pulled the Integra in with the intentions of putting all these pieces on and getting her freshened up. So yeah, let's take a look at it. All right, so here it is, all done up. So previously, we had the exterior done by Chris, had the windows tinted. The interior is really clean. I went through and dynamited that and put a stereo in it. Since then, obviously, I shaved the engine bay, tucked the engine bay, painted the engine bay. Basically, everything is done. I made my own tucked power steering lines using colored fittings by Colored Fittings. Super nice pieces. Recommend them all in all. Tucked fuel lines, also using Colored Fittings. It does have a Wireworks tuck harness for the engine and the chassis. K-tuned slave cylinder and master cylinder. Custom tucked clutch line. Let's see if we can see it back here. I got a little bulkhead there, comes up. Pretty nice. I did all my own lines here. Stainless steel, using all the Colored Fittings kit. I had bought their brake line tuck kit. It came with a bunch of extra fittings. I ended up doing it a little bit different myself. No big deal. I had Zach powder coat this valve cover for me. This is the same color we used on Stacie's valve covers. on her race car, and it matches the fittings perfectly. I knew he could do it for me quickly, and he had the powder already, so I had him knock it out for me. I modified this. This is the factory valve cover I modified to take this clear timing cover. While I was here, I did oil pump, timing belt with this Toda timing belt, water pump, tensioner, and then I did add these Toda adjustable cam gears just to make it look cool. Really don't need them, stock cam shafts right now. We cleaned up the header really nicely. Skunked through radiator, got from turn 14. They had that thing in stock, so that's nice. I did keep the air conditioning. I am waiting on the billet fittings to show up so I can build the lines. That's also why there's no fans on the radiator, because it'll get 2 big pusher fans on the front. As soon as those come in, I'll do a video about that. I'm pretty excited about that. As you can see, it's really fresh. Today we repolished the headlights and got them done. I mean, you can see they're looking pretty fresh too. Without going up in the air, I can't show you much more. Obviously, we cleaned and scrubbed and repainted the engine just to a fresh appearance. We got all new gold bolts, every bolt I could buy for the engine, and the chassis I bought. Obviously, we're using colored fittings, new fender washers and bolts. I got a 25 pack of them. I'm like maybe too short, so I'll get a couple more of those coming, but I love them. They color match the bolts to the fitting, so it just makes sense to keep the flow going. I did put these new mounts in. These are literally like some $50 mounts I bought off of Amazon or one of those places. I wanted to try them. They say they have the softest rubbers in them. They are pretty flexible. I want to try them, see how they compare, because at the end of the day, no matter whose mount you buy, it's some sort of a bushing and a chunk of aluminum. So as long as they're machined correctly, and the bushing, I think they all come from energy suspension anyways, I don't think it really matters. We're gonna find out. So that's the engine bay. I kept the intake and header and exhaust on this thing, like I said. Stacie made me this stencil to keep this marking on the transmission. It is what identifies this as a 98 Spec R transmission, which this is. It had it on there before. I wanted to keep it because it just as a nice little detail. Also, I want to mention, I moved the battery. I kept the fuse box in the factory location. I kept power brakes just because I wanted to be able to work on this thing easy. So if I had a fuse blow, you know what I'm saying? And I also want it to be just kind of a factory appearance engine bay, because when they're overly tucked, to me, it's too much for me. There's not enough contrast and colors and things going on. So I feel like this has a really good balance. I kept the stock style power steering reservoir. This one's actually for an Accord. I couldn't find an Integra one locally. I had to order it from Japan for like $150. I got this one for $20 off Amazon. Basically the same thing. I was making my own lines anyway, so that didn't really matter. And then I scrubbed the heck out of and cleaned this factory coolant overflow and refurbished the bracket for it. We did go through, it's kind of dirty, I need to clean this up a little bit, but we did recoat all of the black pieces for the headlights, so they're fresh. All the brackets on the motor got refreshened. Everything got refreshened. I got some pictures from along the way we'll post up maybe in this video or post online. Let's go up with it so I can show you guys what all we did under there. All right, so I ended up putting spoon brakes on this car. It's an OG deal. I love these things. I've always wanted to have a pair. Now I got them on this car. We have them on Stacie's car. They're really nice on her car, so I wanted them. These are the wheels that I had on this thing before I bought used from Jeremy, a local guy at, I think, SCR Performance. They were in great shape, except the finish was just old. I knew what to do. Took them to Carlos over at Race Wheel Repair and said, hey man, I need these things perfect and I need them in like 4 days. And with no problem, no hesitation at all, he said, bring them, we got you. They did an amazing mirror finish on these, because these are mirror finish wheels, right? Mirror face, MF10s from Japan. And then he clear coated over that, so we won't have to keep polishing them, because that is a pain in the butt. Shout out to Carlos. Always comes through, does the best job. I can't say anything bad about that guy. Yeah, we did that. That's where we started on the brakes on the front. Brakes on the back are we just went with new drill and solder rotors. And then I refurbished the calipers, rebuilt with new hardware and pistons and stuff. And Project Moo brake pads had already been on this car, So I just went ahead and cleaned them up and repainted them just so they were fresh. I might get some shit for that. Don't really care. I just wanted everything to look as new as I could make it. So what we have done here is we completely stripped literally everything out from underneath this car. The fuel tank, the fuel lines, the brake lines, all the suspension pieces, everything. We masked it. We scrubbed it. We wire wheeled everything and prepped it. And then we went ahead and I sprayed a tinted white Rhino liner on the bottom of this thing. Now, these cars came with some undercoating. Usually was just a grayish colored, you know, kind of just a protective seal from the factory. I wanted to do white just to see what it would be like. I've always wanted like a super fresh job. Now, I'm gonna daily drive this thing. It's gonna get dirty. I mean, that's why I'm making this video now and not later, but I'm really, really, really happy with how things come out. I got these chain flex coilovers from buddy Chris, secondhand. So that is a used part. And then he has lent me his Function 7 control arms until mine get here. I just had to order them and I couldn't get them in time, but he had no problem letting me borrow those. We redid the heat shield coating. We redid the trailing arm coating. I redid the hub coating, sandblasted all that. I redid all of these plastic shields. It looks good. It looks brand new, right? And same with this one on the side. We got all new rear suspension hardware from Resto Tuner. They sent me the stuff. It got here fast. It was all the right stuff. It worked out great. Couldn't be any happier. We sandblasted, recoated the sway bar. Sandblasted, recoated the factory Type R rear support. Kyle and Michael worked their magic with the Jax Wax metal polish on this old exhaust. The exhaust was put on this car, I believe, from the factory. This is kind of one of those deals where the 98 cars came with this exhaust. They worked their magic. They looks brand new. Sandblasted and Cerakoted the cat and the heat shield. And again, Kyle started to polish the header. I told him don't worry about polishing it because I'm just going to get it all dirty anyways. But yeah, that looks really, really, really good. Like I said, we just were trying to take the tarnish off of it. I think we missed a little spot right here, boys, but it's okay. I'm gonna drive this thing, so it's no big deal. I sanded, flushed out, and recoated the gas tank. By coated, I painted this here. This is no magic there. Of course, more of the bolts, the zinc bolts from Resto Tuner. I did splurge and I bought the Spoon soft line kit. It's, I don't know, relatively inexpensive, but man, does it look cool. So I bought that, and then I did the K-Tune toe arms, camber arms. I did the K-Tune trailing arm bushings. I went with the hard rubber and all this stuff, not spherical, because I am gonna drive this thing and I don't want it to be super harsh. I did pull all the fuel lines and brake lines down, and I removed the cover, refinished the cover, scrubbed the lines, made sure everything was good there. Recoated all the emergency brake cable brackets. Exhaust heat shields I redid. As you can see, this car is literally just as nice as when it came off the showroom floor with better suspension pieces. I scrubbed this zinc coated shift linkage. It's the factory Type R shift linkage. I don't have any way to re-zinc these things. There's some zinc paint that I tried on some things, and it worked good on some things and on others. I think it just depends on what the material it was made of, but I just left that alone. I cleaned them the best I could. We get that this is a used car. We redid the front sway bar. I bought the K-Tune compliance bushings, K-Tune compliance arms, K-Tune lower front control arms. We refinished the strut fork. We got all the hardware, more hardware here. New inner and outer tie rods. New axles, brake lines. The Spoon brake lines are up here. I got the roll center correction lower ball joints from K-Tune. We got all new transmission hardware. We cleaned up the transmission, did our thing with that. All new transmission hardware there. I redid all these splash shields. This is the battery here in the battery box. I did have to modify this inner fender liner, but it's no big deal. That's the DC5 Creations battery mount. It actually went in pretty nice. Yeah, I'd never done one before, so I redid this inner fender liner here. This fender liner, it's kind of dirty because it's been sitting, but the one that covers the engine And then this fender liner here, I also recoated. I think that's it. I mean, you guys get the gist. We literally repainted, recoated, redid everything that we could do on this car. And as you can see, it is a really nice job for a driver quality, done in 2 weeks, nut and bolt restoration, right? There was no rust on this car, no body work to do on this car. That's why it went so fast. Is literally just take it apart and put it together. No big deal. So we're taking it to Week Fest tomorrow, and hopefully it does well. There's a lot of big hitter cars there, so hopefully it does well, and some people will get to enjoy it and see what they look like in new form. This car only has 100K on it, which is like 63,000 miles or something, so it's a really low mileage car to start with. That's why I felt it was worth restoring and doing a little bit of modifications. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get it off of the lift and out into the middle of the floor and do some walk around footage of it. As you can see, it shines up real nice. I still gotta wash it, still got a bunch to do, but I think we're gonna be trailering this thing to the show in the morning, and it's gonna be raining, so I'm not gonna worry about washing the exterior. I did a full engine bay detail already today. The interior is still just nice and the same. I'm still waiting to do the damn steering wheel. The steering wheel is literally the last thing I have to do to this car. Everything else I'm pretty content with. I think I have a harness bar I'm gonna put in it and maybe some Takata seat belts. But I mean, other than that, and just a few little parts and pieces and alignment, this thing is just 100% what I have always wanted out of one of these cars. I am super fortunate to be in the position that I'm in and to have the support that I have in my life and with my guys that allow me to do this. My wife has put up with me working from 10 in the morning till 4 in the morning again for the past 2 weeks, literally every day other than Thanksgiving Day, which, I mean, she knew I was like, you know, biting my nails and wanting to get out here as fast as I could. So I got some preparations for the show tomorrow to do, but all in all, this thing is the dream Integra build for me. Don't want to add any more power. I just want to drive it, enjoy it, show it off, show people how nice these cars can really be. They don't have to be clapped out rice burners like a lot of the world thinks these days, because there's just not a lot of really nice cars still out there, but you got to make them nice. That's what I want to prove to people, is that you can make them nice again. All right, so I think that's going to be it for now. It's like 2 in the morning. I got to get to bed so I can go to this car show in the morning. But yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think about this. Obviously, this is not a normal thing that we do here at Jessie's Performance, the Honda stuff. But, you know, we do have a very big past with Hondas. Like Stacie, you know, race front wheel drive cars. I built these little rice burners for many years, you know, half my life. I do have passion for these cars and will work on nice ones. So if you have a nice Integra or even any golden era Honda that you want us to work on, we'll entertain it. It's got to pay the bills and it's got to be cool. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and also do not forget to check out our merch store, jessiestore.com. Not only for merch, but we're also selling a lot of parts. Any support you guys can do, it help us pay the bills. We appreciate it. Thanks, and that's it for now.